Thank you so much for watching Riff TV. Now, this interview is obviously with video, but I don't interview everybody on Zoom. That's why I put it on my Talkin' Rock with Meltdown podcast. We talk to rock artists from all over the genre. So check out Talkin' Rock with Meltdown wherever you get your podcasts. And now to today's video interview.
Matt, good to see you.
How are you, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. Thanks for taking the time. Of course, you guys just played last night in Milwaukee at the Rave, didn't you?
Sure did.
Yeah, so I was there about a month ago. I took a trip to Milwaukee, and I don't know if I've told this story on the show or not, but I took a trip to Milwaukee to see the Harley Davidson Museum, right? Which I'm sure you've probably seen, right?
I had one actually where I'm from. We have a Harley Davidson plant. So,
I've been there to York, Pennsylvania. That's right.
Yeah. So I haven't been to the one in Milwaukee, but I've been to the one in York quite a bit.
All right. So anyway, so I go to Milwaukee, and I'm at this stage in my career where I have connections all over the place to bands, whether I know the bands or the management or, whatever. So I see Guar is playing at the Rave. So anyways, I text one of my friends. And I said, hey, could you get me in to see Guar? He's like, sure. So anyway, so I go to see Guar, and not only did I see him, but they were so nice. I got to meet him beforehand, and they even offered to kill me on stage.
Did they?
Yeah. No, they didn't. No, they had a radio winner. Apparently, they were supposed to kill instead. Okay. But anyways, but it was nice of them to offer anyways.
I have heard only stories. I've never seen them.
Yeah.
I've watched them on YouTube. It looks pretty wild. I've heard they smell terrible because of their suits. Like they can't wash them. So like I heard that if you get within 5 feet of them, you're like, it's basically you're passing out. So I don't know if you had that experience or not.
No, I didn't get that. I've heard the same thing about Slipknot and the whole thing, right? But it's like they were super nice, and I met them before they put all their gear on and stuff like that. So
Yeah, our joke is if you let your stage pants go for like 3 to 5 days, you can just stand them up, jump off your bunk right into them.
That's right. So that place is pretty cool. I've never been there before, and ironically enough, that was my first time ever seeing them too. So that's half the reason they offered to kill me on stage. So, very nice.
Welcome. Would you like to die on stage today?
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. First time in Milwaukee, believe it or not. I mean, we've been all over the world, and
that's the first time you played there?
First time we've ever played Milwaukee, man.
Wow.
And of course it comes right after the Dahmer Netflix series, and everything's just like eerie at that point. Like gets dark in Milwaukee and it's like, ooh, this is weird. And we're right across the street from the Ambassador Hotel. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
That becomes a highlight of the day, of course. So
which is funny. I think that's half the reason I went too. I think it got into my psyche because I was watching that throughout October. Then I went there, and I think the concert was like October 28th or something. But they say that place is haunted, and I was expecting you to say, "Oh yeah, we played there a bunch of times." But that place is a pretty wild place. Did you get a chance to walk through it?
All over. It's incredible, man.
Yeah,
incredible. We played the downstairs, but I mean, we're progressing nicely in our career, so I'm hoping we just keep moving up levels, because that top room is so amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. I guess like guys like Jack White have played up there and different things. I went up there with some of the locals, some guys I met, and they took me up there, and there was the smoking area in this bar up there, which like is kind of outdoors. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's like a balcony out front. It's wild.
Yeah. And so then you're coming here for a sold out show. I know playing on the 10th at my friend Kevin Zink's place over there at the Machine Shop. You guys have played there a bunch, I'm sure, right?
Oh, love it there, man. We're getting to the point now where we got to do 2 nights. So. Or they got to knock out a wall and extend that bad boy. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, the Machine Shop's iconic, and every time we get a chance to play there, it's always wild. I just can't wait to see the Flint Santa. That's what I'm looking forward to, man.
Yeah, we'll have to give him a plug. I saw him at the Jackal concert a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't get a chance to he said, I'm going to get a picture or something, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't get a chance to do that kind of thing. But yeah, the Flint Santa, of course, legendary up there for going to all those concerts. So what else you guys have going on?
Tour, this tour ends December 17th at home, which is always nice when it ends at home, because you just go from the show right to your house. So that's always great. And then obviously everyone's doing the holidays, and next year we're working on some more touring stuff, and fingers crossed that our record label is going to work with us to put the record out, and we'll see what goes from there.
All right, let's talk about the record here in a few minutes, but let's talk about this Christmas song, All I Want for Christmas Is You. So first of all, I always wonder, when do bands record their Christmas stuff? Do you do it like in the middle of summer and just dress up the studio with all sorts of bells and whistles, or did you record it last year? Or did you just record it? How's that work?
So we probably did it a bit unconventional. I'll try to make a long story short for you. So I booked some studio time to do some solo stuff. The studio time was set for mid-November. So it was set for about a week before we were going on tour. Actually, probably a little less than a week before we were going on the current tour that we're on right
I was
now.
going to say just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, just a
Oh,
few
all
weeks
right.
ago. So, one thing led to the next. I wasn't able to do the solo stuff. That's a whole other conversation. And I was like, well, we got the studio time booked. Why don't we just do a Christmas song? So, Lance, the guitarist, and I, we just started throwing around Christmas songs. And of course, there's 100 in the hat. And we're like, yeah, but we really don't have time. We don't know what we're gonna do with this thing. Let's just go for the low hanging fruit and see what happens. So, of course we did "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey, which we all know how most people feel about that song. And then the other, it's like a 50-50 split, I guess. So anyway, we recorded it less than a week before we came out here on tour in mid-November. And shot the music video, all of that within 3 days. Total elapsed time was 16 hours. So
Wow.
normally I think people do what you're saying is they do it, a year prior, or they'll do it in the summertime or something like that. We were just like, you know what? Let's see what happens. And it's growing legs, man. I mean, it's just, it's as quick as we could get it out, and here we are
Where did you shoot the video? Near the same place?
in our practice spot.
Oh, right there. Okay.
So we had all of our stuff set up to rehearse for this tour. And we're like, how about we just go to the home store, buy some Christmas trees, bring them in. The guy who shot our last music video, I called him up. I'm like, hey, you want to come down? He's in New York City. We're Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I'm like, hey, you want to come down and shoot this video? He's like, yeah, I'm not doing nothing. I got that day off. I'll come down. So it really strangely came together faster than anything I've ever seen come together.
And of course, you guys had to make it brutal.
Yeah, so that was the original idea that Danny was talking about. He's like, why don't we do like the stalker thing, like Michael Myers and the memes, and make a joke out of it. And I was like, I just don't know that we have time to come up with that storyline. I was like, what if we actually take it serious? I was like, what if we actually just put out a serious cover of this song for people who want a different version of the song, or want metal or rock, quite like ourselves. And one thing led to the next. That's what we did, and it seems to be working.
Now, you playing that on stage now?
No. No.
What about the last show?
No.
Okay. I thought you guys would pull it out there for a little bit.
I don't know how that would go over yet, because we recorded in such short time and never rehearsed it. They talked about playing it at our last show, which is the hometown Christmas show.
Right.
They've discussed, the guys in the band have discussed, like, let's do it. And I'm the one who's kind of like, I don't know, guys. Like, are we ready for this?
You got to spit it out in front of your hometown fans, I would think.
Yeah, maybe we'll limp through it, see what happens. Maybe we'll just get everybody else singing it.
Yeah, there you go. No, it's pretty cool. It kicks ass, of course. I mean, the Mariah Carey version, it's like, as soon as you start to hear it, well, the 157th time you hear it every Christmas, it starts to wear on you a little bit. But it is kind of cool that someone else is doing that now. So you got these shows coming up here, and then you were talking about your solo stuff. So do you want to get in that or no?
I mean, I would love to do it someday. Getting into it, talking about it. I mean, it's just, at this point, it's kind of just contractual, you know what I mean? And where I'm at as an artist, and I'm just not really given the opportunity to do it yet, I guess, put it that way. So there's not really much to talk about there, but hopefully someday we can get it rolling, and I'll be able to get some of that stuff out.
And speaking of contractual stuff, what kind of legal loopholes do you have to jump through to record that Christmas cover, or don't you? I always wonder how that worked.
Yeah, so with covers, it's weird, right? So like, if you change the song a lot, if you change lyrics, if you add parts, then you start getting into like weird licensing and stuff like that. But as long as you keep it pretty true to the original, there's and you're not selling it, you're just streaming it or whatever, all that kind of stuff. Like and if you are selling it, of course, you get the money to the right people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's fine. But if you go changing a lot about it, you add parts, like we had a couple things that we've done in the past where we've mashed songs together.
Mm.
just for fun, you know what I mean? And then, of course, one thing leads to the next, and they take off, and fans want a recorded version of it and stuff like that. That makes it difficult. When you mash them together, then you've got to get two different artists to be like, oh, okay, I'm okay with this, because it obviously changes the integrity of what they intended for their original piece of art. So, so with this one, there's nothing really changed. It's just kind of, it's our version of a song that already exists.
Now, you guys contributed a song to the Retaliators, correct?
We did, yeah. Two maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that goes, but I know one for sure.
Yeah, I would love to have seen the movie, but I don't even know where it's streaming. I've tried to watch it. I'm like, I want to see it because I'm like a horror movie fan and all this kind of stuff, and I don't know where it is.
I think it's on Amazon, but I'm going to be dead honest with you, man. I haven't seen it either.
Okay.
I don't know that any of us have, to be 100% honest. And Lance, our guitarist, he's really into horror as well. So, but I've heard from a lot of people that it's really gory, if that means anything. So,
Well, so is Terrifier 2.
I have heard that is incredibly gory as well. I've not seen that either. I'm more of a, I'm not really into like the slasher horror films. I'm more of like the sci-fi and suspenseful horror.
Psychological thrillers.
Yeah, right. Unless it's like like a classical slasher, and I can't believe I'm saying classical at this point, but like Scream,
Right.
like that's one of my favorite movies of all time. But I'm all into like the ghosts and demons and stuff like that, So those are the ones that make me think about things,
So were you did you watch all the Stranger Things stuff?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. R.I.P. Eddie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for now we'll see what happens. But it's weird they used a Master of Puppets and whatnot. But I'm older than you, and it's like I never heard the other song, the Running Up the Hill or whatever. I don't even know what that song is.
Neither did I. My wife seemed to know what it was, though.
Okay.
So she's like, "Oh my God, I love this song," and I'm like, "I have no idea." My thing is after it hit, and was so big, obviously, I was like, "All right, where's the covers? Where are they at?" That's kind of like
There has been a few.
Like there has, absolutely, absolutely. So, that song was huge, though, man. I mean, I'm not sure it was huge back in the day, but I'm sure. What's her name? Kate
Bush. Yeah.
Kate Bush.
I don't know who that is, but I have a Peloton, and every once in a while, well, not anymore, but like back in a few months ago, you'd hear this metal cover. I don't even know who did it of that song.
Yeah, I do know that I heard. Well, I heard, okay, and then I think it's true that she owns all her masters. Which as an artist is like, it's a dream come true, right? To own all your masters.
Right.
And the fact that went so viral in 2022, like she probably was like doing okay, you know what I mean? And like 2022 rolls along like 30 years later, and the next thing you know, it's the best thing that's ever happened. And probably actually 40 years later, it's the best thing that's happened in her career, So it's wild how things like that happen.
And it's really cool to see somebody, kind of take to Metallica too, because I heard they were struggling a little bit. So
yeah,
it's good to see those guys get a few pennies in their
I thought you were being serious there at first. Then it clicked, and I was like, okay, wait a second. Starving artists, those Metallica guys.
No, they that show, by the way, that those I mean, not to get off on something else, but it's like those, you've heard about the tour, right? With Metallica?
Which one?
The one that's coming up next year?
Oh yeah. I mean, I saw it. The one that's got like a million different openers and it goes for like 2 years.
Yeah, it's like Metallica, they've reached that point in their career, well, they have been for a long time now, where they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's incredible, man.
Yeah.
It's a dream come true for any artist. So for me, I just look at it and live vicariously. Like, oh, this is, and to see some of my friends, that we've come up through the industry with opening those shows is just, it's awesome, man. Like it's, again, vicarious. I'm like, you guys, man, can I just come out and look? Can I just come out? You know what I mean? Like, just be there for a minute.
Yeah, I saw this show in Pittsburgh, and Ice Nine Kills. Is that who you're referring to? One of the guys, I saw those guys open up, and Greta Van Fleet opened up that show as well.
Yeah,
and, man, just so great, so happy for all those guys, doing
it's so cool to see metal and rock artists like this day and age, because it's hard for all artists, you know what I mean? So this day and age, to see those guys, coming up the way they are, I'm like, all right, man, we got some life here, man. Let's go.
So you mentioned earlier about a record and possible tour next year. So what kind of stuff you got in the can?
Well, we have a record in the can. It's been done for a while. And touring, I don't really know yet. We're
Okay.
working on that. So it's touring's weird, man. It's not the way that it used to be prior to the pandemic. Like, there's not as many bands going out. There's less opportunities. We're in a weird spot where we're no longer like the one of four opener.
Mm.
So we don't get those types of opportunities because those opportunities are a little bit easier because there's more of them, right? For us, it's more, depending on the bill, we're direct support in a lot of the bigger bands now, and doing our own headliners. So, really trying to like line all that up, figure out what's coming up for the summer because not all that's booked yet. And I think that that's kind of what we're looking at maybe for support,
Mhm.
to do something cool in the summer for support. So like trying to book headliners around it. And then of course you've got festival season. So you've got to figure out festival season. It's really a chess, big game of chess, man, just to figure out where all the pieces are supposed to go. So,
And plus, you want to have some product out there, right? So, right. So, I mean, so is this record going to drop first quarter or what? Or
I
don't
have
you?
no idea.
No, really?
I literally have no clue. Got some phone calls about it. You know what I mean? That's where we're at. I wish I had answers, but I really have no clue as to exactly what the record thing is. It's been in the can since 20. So we finished it in 2021. We started it in 2020.
This is all the
Uh,
pandemic stuff. You guys did the quarantine stuff and all that, but this is all totally different stuff.
yeah, this is a whole original record. Brand new. We released 2 songs from the process. They're already out.
Mhm.
But we've got, we're contracted to do 14 every album cycle. We've got 12 that we're currently sitting on, I guess, just waiting to figure out what the label wants to do. Our best record yet. They know it. We know it. So I guess that's part of the planning is to make sure that we put our, the right foot forward and make this the biggest thing we've ever done.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, I guess, too, to see that the world is kind of, I mean, from as far as I'm concerned, back to normal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to what we're doing, I mean, I can't say that our $6 a gallon diesel prices are back to normal,
Well,
but
of
beyond
course, yeah,
that,
right.
you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like, as the generator runs while I'm sitting here talking to you, I just watch my dollars flying out. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
no doubt.
that exhaust is green. What's going on there? Uh, but yeah, beyond that, man, I mean, yeah, we're out here. The shows are great. People are showing up. Merch is flying off the shelves better than I think that it ever has, and people are just having fun. And it's good to see. People are smiling. Nobody's scared to look. That look. Remember that look? You go out in public and you see someone sneeze and you be like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah,
You know,
right.
that's not happening right now. So it's good.
Yeah, it is pretty cool to get things back in order. I've been to a bunch of concerts this year. Last year, it's like it was kind of touch and go for a few, and of course, there was a lot of the bands I went and saw. There was no meet and greets or anything like that. That's all starting to come back now. So, you guys doing all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. We did it in 2021 too. So we were one of the first bands to come back, um, full tour. Bands were doing little things in here and there, but we went out with POD in 2021, and we did meet and greets then. But we did them. They were weird, man. Like we would be on stage, fans would come in, they would be, 10 to 12 feet away from us. We'd take pictures, talk from the stage, do the whole thing. It was strange. It was
Yeah,
definitely weird.
yeah.
We did, and I'll tell you what, man, we did everything in our power on that particular tour because obviously it was fresh. People weren't doing it. We did everything in our power to stay safe. We all got COVID, went home.
Yeah, that was my next question. Did you guys make it through? It's
Nope.
funny. It's like I remember watching, I think it was well, I know it was a Black Label Society, and I want to say that this was early on as the pandemic was kind of starting to come to an end. It was like, and they're just doing meet and greets and they're like pandemic schmandemic. They're like, get over here, and they're hugging everybody. It didn't matter. You
Did
know,
they get it?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't
Oh
know.
man,
Maybe
lucky
they did.
them.
I don't know, but
Yeah. Oh man, that thing kicked my ass. To be honest with you, I felt about 85. My back hurt so bad. I was just limping around all over the place.
did
So
you guys have to cut off a tour?
yeah, we ended up having to leave it, and then luckily we didn't have anything coming up too soon after that. We I think what ended up happening, if I'm correct, is we cut off about half of the end of the tour,
Hmm.
and then we ended up finishing the last 2 shows because they were close to us. So we were able to send the bus home and then get a vehicle at home and do Syracuse and Harrisburg at the end, which was about a 3-week period. But I'll tell you what, if it was any less than 3 weeks, man, I don't know that I was getting up there doing it. It got rough for a hot second, so the muscle pain, unreal.
Yeah, it's weird how it affected everybody differently. My first bout was in October of 2020, and that's a story for another time. But and it's like this was pre, vaccines and all this other nonsense. And so then it was like I was just like I like had a cold. Like that's what I thought it was. And I wake up on Halloween and I'm like, yeah, I can't smell anything.
Oh, that came at the end for me.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not going to lose any smell, taste. And then the end, literally the end, my smell went and it was gone for 3 months.
Oh,
I
my
was
God.
like, yeah, I was like, this is never coming back. I guess I'm just never smelling the wonderful things that I love to smell, which is a plus because, at that point, because I'm in a bus with Danny and he's not the best smelling human being in the world.
Yeah, right.
When everyone's running and, for the hills and the doors are flying open and everyone's running out, I'm just sitting here like, what?
Yeah, what's going on? Right. I
Ignorance.
remember taking my deodorant going like this. And like, I can't smell anything. And then you're right. Like for like 6 months, my smell was like strange. Like it was weird.
Things smelled weird. Like my shampoo smelled like I was just pouring chemicals all over my body. And like, I was actually using peppermint, like essential oil to bring my smell back is what I heard. I don't know. I don't know if it worked or not. It did take 3 months, but I mean, I'm talking like, you get a little dab of that and normally you're like, whoa, I'm just putting it like in my nose.
Yeah, you could do that kind of stuff. You could cut onions, not worry about it. The smell and salts, everything, nothing.
Wild.
Yeah.
One thing that did happen that I think that, everyone got a kick out of this. I became wasabi proof.
Is that right?
So we're all eating sushi and to be dead honest with you, I just got into sushi probably within the last like 2 years. We'll say.
Well, that makes one of us, by the way, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it took me forever, man. But I was like, I ain't gonna eat that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not much of that. Yeah.
So finally I was like, all right, I'll try it. So I tried it and I liked it, but I had never had wasabi. So after the whole COVID bout and then losing my smell was the first time that I ever tried wasabi because I just hadn't had it before.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And everyone's like trying it, right? And they're all like dying. Their faces are melting. And I'm sitting there like, is there something? And like looking at me, they're like, what's going on? And I take like a big dollop of it, man. And I'm just, what do you mean? Like, is this supposed to do something? And they're like, COVID has made you wasabi proof. So
yeah, that is funny. Yeah. The things you do when you had COVID. Yeah. We're gonna be talking about this for years,
times,
right?
Brother. Wild times.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, good luck with the rest of the tour. Of course, like you said, ending in Lancaster, or as the town over from where I grew up, we called it Lancaster. And
you had it right though the first time.
I know you. Well, no, you had it wrong the first time, and I had it right the second time. Lancaster, right? But wet bottom or dry bottom shoe five.
Wet bottom, man.
See, I like the wet bottom too. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I bring that up a lot on tour. People are like, "What are you talking about?" They have no clue. If you're not from Amish country, you don't know what a wet bottom, dry bottom is.
Yeah, I stayed at a place out there years ago, probably about 10 years ago, and we stayed at this place called the Old Fogey Farm, and it was pretty cool actually. And these two old people, their last name was Fogey, and we stayed at their farm.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then I went to the York plant, like I was saying, and the whole thing, and it was pretty cool. But and final thing here, for I've asked you before, let's see if you learned anything. The greatest rock band to come out of Pennsylvania is.
Oh, there's a lot. Breaking Benjamin for me.
Oh, so you said that. I think you did say that before. Well, I was going to say Cinderella.
Oh,
I love Cinderella.
That my sister would say that. My sister would actually say Poison. That's her favorite band of all time. So,
yeah. Well, Brett's from Pittsburgh, right? Yeah.
I talk about it all the time, man. There's nothing to do in Pennsylvania except for music.
Except to rock.
Yeah, you either break the law or you create music. That's it. There's
right,
no in between. And I've done both in my life, so I'm glad I'm on this kick now.
Well, growing up in Western New York, I've had a chance to explore Pennsylvania a little bit, and it's a pretty cool state. And like I said, just when I saw that Metallica show in Pittsburgh at the baseball stadium, so that was really cool.
Maybe one day. Was that PNC Park? I think no, that's not PNC.
Yeah,
is it PNC?
Yeah.
You said you grew up in Western New York. Where at?
Outside of Buffalo. Yeah.
Okay, Danny's from Rochester, so
yeah.
He talks lovely things about it all the time.
all
the snow.
I didn't spend much time in Rochester, but yeah, we just got pounded. My family did, a couple weeks ago. But
Crazy, man.
yeah. Hey, well, Matt, listen, thanks so much for the time. Of course, the new song, All I Want for Christmas Is You. We're going to drill that into people's head this whole holiday season, and we'll see you on tour maybe in a couple weeks at the Machine Shop. Okay.
Hell yeah, man. Stop out. We'll be there.